Hello, hello, and welcome to the Business of Healing podcast. I'm so excited to be with you today. Today, I'm talking about three ways that ADHD has affected my business. And so, I am a healer by trade. I have been a licensed therapist since 2009. I have been a podcaster since 2015. I have been a coach and making programs and courses to help people heal and take these really abstract concepts of growth and development and being able to operationalize that and make it very practical and down to earth and doing it full time. I've been doing that since around 2015, 2016. And so I have done a lot and I've worked in a lot of places and I've done a lot of things. But I was diagnosed officially with inattentive ADHD around COVID time. And it put so many things into perspective. Up until that time, I had been and I'm still a very high functioning person, but I was overcompensating for all the ways that inattentive ADHD had been affecting me and affecting the people around me. My mother, she never had a chance to get diagnosed before she passed away, but she had inattentive ADHD. So not only was I overcompensating for myself because I didn't want all the ways that ADHD, the lack of follow through, the dropping of things, the inconsistencies, and then the social shame, the career shame, the environmental shame and rejection that you get, I had to troubleshoot for that and also troubleshoot for my mom and troubleshoot for everybody else around me. It was a lot. And so around COVID is when I finally got diagnosed because holding up and doing that for decades is hard and it affects you and things start to fall by the wayside. And so I got diagnosed and it all started to make sense. And it really helped normalize a lot of things that have been going on for me and give me language to why it was happening so that I could not be so hard on myself. And yet and still, I still was an entrepreneur. I still was the person who was in charge of my business. I was the one who was in charge of also helping so many other people heal and get to the other side of what they were struggling with. And so I still had responsibility. So I still had to figure it out. And so in today's episode, I'm going to talk about the three ways or three of probably many ways that my ADHD has affected my business and then what it looks like to work through that on the other side of it. So, the first way that ADHD has affected my business is being inconsistent with follow through. So, whether or not there was a launch that I was going to do, whether or not there was a program that I wanted to start, an event I wanted to accomplish and curate, there would be struggles with following through with them. Now, there would be different reasons why there would be following through with them. Sometimes it would be because I was so overwhelmed and I had too many things on my plate. And sometimes it was because it just wasn't really the right time to do it. But for me, most of the time it was because I was doing so many different things, just like struggling to hold so many balls in the air. And so here's some of the ways that I work through this in my business. The first way is by hiring team members. So by delegating, being able to find the right people, the right specialties, the right personalities to help the business grow. So me hiring and me learning how to be a boss, me learning what it looks like to interview people, me learning what it looks like to put folks on performance improvement plans, me learning, okay, do I actually want an employee here versus a contractor? Me learning, okay, this is the actual scope of what it is that I need, writing job descriptions and all that stuff, being my own HR, all of that was a learning process in itself. But it was very helpful. It helped me find the people that ended up being the right fit for me. It helped me learn how to save time whenever I was interviewing or having new people that I was signing up to work with for me to weed out very quickly, okay, this is going to work and this is not going to work. We are actually a good fit and we are not a good fit. I tried to make these type of working relationships work before and it didn't work out. So I'm going to learn and not move forward with this person and this dynamic is what best fits for me. This is how I can educate people on this is how it best works for me to work together. Does that work for you? And being able to have these proactive conversations by way of learning how to ask for help and to ask for help for the right people has been a way that I've grown. Another thing that has helped with inconsistent follow through is having SOPs, standard operating practices, and ways that we work in flow. So having all of it written down, especially if I need to delegate it to somebody else so that they can take it off my plate. Being able to put it all into words, what that means and what that looks like. And then lastly, being able to have clear organizational flows and procedures that are repeatable instead of reinventing the wheel every time. So here's the thing for me as ADHD, this is a pro that I consider it a pro. I am a forever creative. And because I am very interested in what I do here and helping people find solutions, I'm always coming up with new ideas and tools to help people with very niche needs and niche problems. So with that said, knowing that if I'm going to be doing a course, this is what I do all the time. If I'm going to be doing a workshop, this is what I'm going to be doing all the time. If I'm doing a worksheet packet for people, this is what it looks like. This is what a retreat looks like. And just having these flows that I know what to do and what the steps are and let it be rinse and repeat has always been very helpful for me. This is a knowledge that I've learned, hard won, through the 15 years of being a professional, not only in the management roles and things that I was in my previous life when I was working in agencies and in facilities and in private practices, and I had my own private practice, but also in the businesses that I've built since then. The second thing that or the second way that ADHD has gotten in the way though, and so even in spite of all of the hurdles that can come with being neurodivergent, I'm so proud of the fact that I've been able to traverse these things, find solutions for them. And even if or when a problem or a hiccup happens, the personal development work that I've done to be self compassionate and self accepting and to work on my self talk has helped me self soothe, to help me stay confident, to help me stay connected, which is in turn help my business, help my clients, and help people who are on the other side. So anyone who has symptoms of neurodivergency, just know that whatever the hiccup is, whatever the roadblock is, it can be worked through and there are ways out of it. So, or ways to pivot if it is not the right fit for you for where you are right now. So let's go ahead and move on to the second way that ADHD has impacted my business. The second way is by having difficulty prioritizing what is the most important. So, like I said, I am a forever creative. I will have different ideas where I'm like, okay, I want to do this course. I want to do this event. I want to do this workshop. I want to do this thing. I want to respond to this client. I want to do this next initiative. In my personal life, I want to do this thing with my son. I want to do whatever it may be. And so wanting to do everything at one time, especially when you are in flow, especially when you may have a nature to hyperfixate on things, can be really hard. And it's very easy to get overwhelmed. And when you try to be the master of everything, you end up being the master of none. And that's also what leads to having difficulty with follow through if you're overwhelmed. And so, one of the things that has helped me work through this is having knowledge of the output. So, what does it take for me to do whatever this thing is? If I want to do a course, that means that I have to do this step and then this step, and then I need to create a flow for this, which has these four moving parts. And then I have to do these five things on the back end. And then after that, I need to do this part and this part and this part. And then I need to troubleshoot it in this way. Then I need to create this on the front end to market it and all this stuff. Like, so I know what all the steps are and I know the amount of time it takes and I know the energy that it takes. And so me knowing that it's not only about the steps, it's about the time, it's about the energy, it's about the team members. For me to know what each single thing that I am desiring to do, what it would take is so important because then I'm looking at, okay, let's say I wanted to create this new product or course offering, and this is what it takes. I know the capacity that it takes, and I'm very clear about it. Because the thing about neurodiversity, especially ADHD, is when you get hit with the inspiration to do something, part of the dopamine that feels so intoxicating is caught in the fantasy of what it's going to feel like when it's over. So knowing that this is the strong desire that I have, okay, this is the weekend that I have for it. These are the resources that I have for it. This is the team members that I have. This is my time capacity that I have. This is my energy capacity. Can I actually do this? And if I can, to do it. If I can't, to make adjustments. Personally, I have boundaries about working on the weekend now after years of working through burnout and other things that were not sustainable. So, just for example's sake, That is one of the things that have helped me. And I by going through burnout and doing these lessons so that to spare you from having to go through that as well, I learned what works and I learned what doesn't work. And it's also what I advise people to do as well. The second thing that helped me work through having difficulty prioritizing different things and knowing what was most important was prioritizing my own personal self-care because I'm the one who is a part of the process. If I'm not okay, it's not going to happen. If I'm not healthy, if I'm not mentally fit, if I'm not energetically or emotionally invested in it, if I'm not interested in it because other places in my life are falling by the wayside, then this is not going to happen. I'm not going to be able to show up as my best self for my clients either. And for me, being a mission driven entrepreneur, where my purpose is to help other people and to leave something that's lasting and sustainable for people to change their lives, it has to come from a healthy energy. It has to come from an abundant space. It has to come from a balanced space. Or I will be in a place where I have been at different points and times in my business when I've overgiven that I've had to scale back. Or the next thing that I had on my list, I couldn't give as much because I went too hard and I was doing too much in one area at the expense of myself. And so prioritizing my own personal self care as a strategy in my business has been huge. And related to that, the next thing that has really helped me overcome the step or that is continuing to help me because ADHD, neurodivergency is not something that, okay, you have once, you have for a year, you know, some strategies, and then like you work through it. It's about you learning how to navigate this in your life and optimize it for the way that your brain works differently in the world, works differently than the neurotypical people, and the ways that discipline and strategies for them may not fit for you, or it may fit in some ways, but you have to do some other things to build the skill of consistency, discipline, or whatever is being taught to you, whatever habits creation is being taught to you. But the third thing that has helped me with this is practicing my own personal boundaries with myself. So, like I was saying in the intro of this, there are so many things that will come into my brain that I want to do, and I want to say yes to everything, but I have to start saying no to myself a lot of times. As a neurodivergent person, sometimes my biggest critic, my biggest enemy is myself that wants to do all the things and float at all the places. And I believe that being in flow is the best place to be, but sometimes I have to do some things on the back end so that I can play in my business, so that I can really revel in the joy of what it takes of what I get by helping people change their lives and by building something that lasts and building something that actually can move other folks. So this is where our own personal work comes into play at. This is where having trusted advisors and counselors really comes into play at. You not being the only person that has eyes on you and your business and helping you create strategies that best fit you. This is why, for those of you who have been watching and following me for a while, or maybe this is your first time joining me, having a mentor, having a coach to help you with these strategies and to help optimize wherever you are is so important because for those of us who are healers, those of us who are here to help other people who are life changers, whether or not we are a beautician or a therapist or a teacher or a life coach or a stay at home mom, the people that we touch are the change makers in the world. We are change makers as well. And so by us being our best selves, by us taking care of ourselves, by us having strategies and systems that help us show up in the way that we want to show up, everybody wins. So that is why I'm so excited about my Healer Business Mentorship series, where I'm giving all of the things that I've learned over the decade and a half plus of being an entrepreneur, of growing multiple businesses, of doing everything from writing courses and books and building a private practice, both in therapy and in coaching that was full podcasting, building channels, building social media, and then hiring teams and building processes and building IPs, intellectual property, and all the things that happen on the back end. That is why I'm sharing all of that in my business coaching programs. There are 3 different tracks. There's operations and logistics, where I'm talking about a lot of the things I'm talking about here, from hiring and teams and system and processes and operations, legal considerations for you to have, ethics and things like that. This is the foundation of your business. So it's fine to have courses and seminars and speaking engagements and all the fun, flashy things. But if you don't have containers for this, if you don't have ways to work in your business, it will come and go. It will not last. You'll find yourself in a lot of chaos and a lot of mess and difficulty sustaining it. So that is the first track for those who are interested in operations and logistics. Maybe you have all the other stuff. The second track is products and offerings. So all the fun, flashy stuff that I just listed, right? So exactly how I've created all of my courses, all of my retreats, all of my events, the systems, the flows, the books that I've written, the podcasts, everything. I'm sharing all what all that looks like. The merch, my planners, my notebooks, all the things that I've put out there, I'm sharing it all and how I did it and how you can do it as well. And also having Q&A for all these things as well. So that's track 2, and then track 3, we're talking about marketing and growth, getting yourself out there, whether or not it's webinars or freebies and lead magnets, if you know what those are, or how to bring people into your community, what it looks like to connect to people, what it looks like to have a voice. What do the numbers look like? What do the analytics look like? I'm talking about all of that in my marketing and growth track. And so because I know that there are people who may need some things and not other things, and there's a lot that I'm sharing, you can pick between any of those tracks, or you can join me for all three. This is a live experience where I am there for you, answering questions about what I've done, answering questions about what you are currently doing if you're already in business or if you aspire to be in business, and helping you jumpstart. And from there, you can take what you need, leave the rest. But having someone in your corner who has been there, who has traversed a lot of things, especially if you're neurodivergent like me, and helping you find success, what we're going to be doing together. So you can learn more by going to blackgirlsheal.org/mentorship and join me there. The last way that ADHD has affected me in my business is trying to avoid tasks that are boring or that I just don't want to do. Now, as someone who has ADHD, this is just part of it. There are going to be things that are not on your favorites list that you're going to avoid. And it's not even that you even want to do it last, but like it's like whatever is below last. Like is as if it's not even on your radar. It doesn't exist. And maybe if I ignore it long enough, maybe if I just act as if I don't have to do it, that it'll just disappear. That's where it goes into our no man's land. But you owning a business, if you're not doing some of these things that are foundational, that are just the bones of your business won't exist. And so this is what I will say, me personally, I am still working through. I'm still finding my own hack. I'm going to share some of those things with you today, but this may be an ongoing process that you may need to find what is the right fit for you. So the first one is pretty obvious is outsourcing. So the things that are not my zone of genius, the things that are really hard, the things that I will begrudgingly do and that will take me 10 times longer than it needs to, even with my time blindness. Like it is just hard and heavy as much as I can when I have time, resources, access to it, capacity, team members to outsource it to them. One of the things that is a struggle for me is social media. I love connecting with people, but just social media, constantly being on stories. I have tried to do day in the life vlogs so many times, but I will forget halfway through it. And if I do remember editing it and clipping it together and the songs and the music and the voiceovers, at this point, I have not figured out a way to make it light and easy. But some of my friends, it's like they're breathing. It's just so easy for them. It's so fun. It's so natural, it's so pleasurable, and that's not really it for me. So for me, social media has always been kind of a hard chore for me. So finding ways, finding systems, finding team members, finding tools that help make it more rinse and repeat or that can take it off my plate has been very helpful for me. When I now they didn't have this back when I was practicing therapy, but when I was a therapist, when I was practicing therapy as a therapist. So when I had therapy clients, I'm still a therapist, but I operate as a coach now, but I don't have any therapy clients. So I do things in my coaching programs to support people where there's like a structure, a process, I can give you feedback, all that stuff. But in therapy, when you're a therapist, you are mandated to write clinical notes. That was always so hard for me. And now they have regulated, I think it's regulated AI tools, but even if not AI, but you can actually speak your notes and it'll transcribe it for you. Y'all, I wish I had that. That would have been amazing. But finding tools and resources to help me or help you is what I would suggest with whatever your big rock is. The last thing that I would suggest for you to know and to implement is the fact that you get to change your mind and you get to pivot. You get to make it easy. So I'm going to use somebody else's example, not my own, but one of the business coaches that I really love, I may have mentioned her on this podcast before. I know for sure I've mentioned her on my other podcast, but her name is Jasmine Chanel. She recently came back from a sabbatical from social media and advertising her business. And so she's doing a workshop. At the time I'm recording this, she's about to do a workshop. And I was watching her Insta stories and she was just sharing how she was trying to make a landing page for this workshop, and she was like, "This is so hard. I can't believe I used to do this, and I'm just gonna make this easy on myself." And so she said, "I'm just gonna share all the details for the workshop here on Insta Stories, and if you want the link, send me a message and I'll send you the link." And so that's what she did, and then she used the same slides from that Insta story as the slides for her social media as a carousel, and she's been getting all these signups. And that's what I mean about you get to lean into what is easy for you. It's my understanding that social media, Insta stories and all that is very easy for her. And so that's what she did. And so you get to pivot. You get to make your own rules. Like, yes, there's containers, yeah, there are structures and things, but you get to decide what that looks like so that your clients can find you, so that you can help people, so that you can show up. You get to make it as easy as you need it to be without having to do all the stuff because other people say you should. Okay. So these are the things that I'm going to be talking about a lot in my business mentorship coaching program. And again, you can join me at the website blackgirlsheal.org/mentorship. We'll be digging into all of these things and offering special space for me to coach you through what might work best for you and for you to make adjustments where needed or to find what is the right fit and send you on the right path. I'll be sharing all of my processes, the things that work best for me, and maybe that will inspire you to find your own or to create your own hybrid or whatever it may look like. So I look forward to getting to know all of you and helping you in your mission driven businesses and helping change this world to be a better place. So that's it for now. Sending you all so much love, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.